but it's the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube how you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello, and welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. I know there's at least one person here. Welcome. We are joined today by our special guest, RyanHaack. And how are things going for you today?
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. Welcome, Unhinged Entertainment. Hail BRIC-A-BRAC and the Pickle King. Yeah, Frago, it appears that way. Some good things going. Some suspicious behavior is afoot. Yeah, so we had you on before.
Yeah, a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I think.
So we're trying to push your campaign, but unfortunately we didn't make it.
Right, yeah.
So are all your campaigns fixed goals?
Yes, they are. Yeah. I do that because you never know what could happen, and it's just not safe. And well, I mean, I guess you could potentially cancel it, but I would never want to tempt myself to go without money that I know I need. Like I always want to put a goal as money I need.
Oh yeah.
Instead of what I want, because what I want is like, oh well, I can have this and I can extend the book this long, but really what I need is 5,200, which is what I have now. But I was trying 9,000 or 8,000, but really what I need to get the book done like the way I did last time is 5,200. So it just kind of works like that.
What kinds of things do you factor take into account when coming up with your fixed goal?
Well, mainly production. The production is huge, and then I think the next thing is obviously the next thing is printing, and then with this one I had to take into account printing the first issue again. So this is the very first printing, but the new versions of #1 will not look like this. So they'll actually have a variant cover, and but if you signed up for my email list for BRIC-A-BRAC #2, there's going to be 2 winners of this. So it's going to be of the original printing, just by the way. But yeah, so that's kind of another printing thing. So we're printing 2 books with this one. So it's a little bit more expensive, but really, and it seems like actually issue #1 is really, really popular. The bundle is super popular. So yeah, the 2 printings will be, I love that there's that bundle though with the two that people are really gravitating towards, which is great. So that's really all that's really here. It's the production, the printing, and then the shipping is huge too. But luckily I'll be using different services like Media Mail this time as opposed to last time I used myself, which was not good. I would go to like the USPS and just ship them out. So thankfully I've gotten a lot of tips as to how to properly send books. So that's how we've kind of gotten to this goal.
When you were doing fulfillment originally yourself, if you weren't using Media Mail, what were you using?
Nothing, just myself, just going to a self-service station and just sending the book. So it was quite a lot more expensive.
Did you use at the time, did you hear about Gemini mailers, or were you using?
I was just using mailers just because I did use Gemini mailers at one time, but they just are so bulky that they end up, really increasing the price of the shipping, kind of to at least a couple dollars or so, and that really adds up. So I've just started using bubble wrapped You know, like they're the envelopes with bubble wrap in them.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
fit this perfectly. And then I also put this in a 10 by 7 comic book case, or what is it called? Plastic bag and board. Yeah, exactly. So I bag and board them, and then I put them in that bubble wrap thing, and that usually ensures that they're safe. I saw one. I think one person said that theirs came, a little, a little scratched up, but it was an international, and they didn't really want me to send it back. So yeah, so I didn't do any sendbacks with the first one. So I think that's the approach I'll be going with this next time.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I know. I know in a lot of campaigns, everyone's kind of following the model of Gemini mailers, and
Yeah,
so far I've been, I guess I've been lucky. Most everything I've gotten has arrived without issue. It's usually the ones that are in like custom, handmade packaging or repurposed packaging that
yeah,
I occasionally, well, more like rarely, receive with like minor dents or scratches.
right.
Yeah, it's oh, hold on real quick. Let's catch up here. Hi, Unhinged. Unhinged got the bundle.
Thank you, Unhinged, and thank you, Joe. Thank you for all the support, Joe. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Really,
Joe,
you do. It means the world to me. Thank you, man.
92 backers.
Yay!
Huzzah.
Hopefully we get this going. I think we will succeed this time.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about this one. Yeah,
Making some good progress on this one. 60% of the fixed goal.
yes.
Awesome.
But yeah, you're right about the Gemini. They are really safe. They're super safe, but at the same time, they are expensive to ship internationally. One time, I had to ship something internationally to my friend in Portugal, who is a collaborator of mine, and it was like $40 with the Gemini mailer. So it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I would rather resend a book than have to send it for $40.
Wow. Yeah. I was just thinking back to one of the packages I received that, it arrived safely, but it is kind of unusual. I don't know if you're familiar with your boy Zach.
No, I'm not.
He has this YouTube channel, Comics Matter with your boy Zach.
Okay.
His name is Richard Meyer. He's an early comic skater. I don't know how closely you follow comic skate, but
not really. I'm not sure. I don't know much about it.
He's kind of like one of the, I think some would consider him kind of like one of the founding fathers in a sense, because he was like ahead of the curve in seeing how Marvel and DC were going down this bizarre path of suddenly becoming quote unquote woke. Going down a path where, you take your classic superheroes you fell in love with and have been fans of for decades, and then suddenly turning them on their head and making them uncharacteristic, shoving agenda and politics and things like that into the books. Well, Richard Meyer has had several successful campaigns, and he had this one called Pandemic. So I backed the book. I received it. I think it was sent via media mail. So, it came all right. And when you open it up and take it out, he had basically his book, which was a floppy, and then it was sandwiched between two thin pieces of cardboard. I think it's even thinner than the stock used in comic book boards. It felt a little lightweight. And then the whole thing was shrunk wrapped.
Oh, wow. That's a good way to go about it, I think. That
was interesting. I mean, I can see doing shrink wrap to minimize the chance of, water getting in if, it's under in a storm or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of unusual. I mean,
yeah, but I like that though. I like that idea because I was thinking about doing that too. It's like to really secure the book. And honestly, these books. I mean, if for anyone who got the first one, I print with a place that the books kind of have this like weird. You see through like a see. The staples kind of. Like you don't even have to open the book, and the staples will just kind of land on this one specific page. That's like a buckle. It's like a buckle, and then yeah, and so if you can maybe stop that at any cost, that would be cool. Just to be able to stop that. So maybe I might do that. I like that, or shrink wrapping at least. I like that idea because then it, anything to avoid the Gemini mailers. I think it's a great idea, but I just am never going to use them again. They're just
the comic book bag and board works out pretty well because it also kind of presses it
right
because it closed.
Right.
But what I did like about it, what I like about Gemini mailers is they're sturdy, and in my experience I've had a lot of I've had packages get busted in transit, and it's a pain in the arse to file claims, and you're waiting for long periods of time for them to respond to your claim.
Yeah.
And and I also like the fact that it's got the crumple zones on the ends. So
right.
Usually I do see on a lot of packages that these delivery people nowadays, I think they're just under a lot of pressure and stress to, try and stick to their deadlines, that they're in such a hurry that they just throw packages about. So I'm constantly seeing dented corners and ends, and thanks to the crumple zone of the Gemini mailers, it's prevented, massive damage. I don't really have anything against anyone using media mail. I have heard that they have like some stringent rules.
Yeah, I was actually it's interesting. I was actually talking about this last night. So Billy Tucci had me on his show last night, and we were talking about that. Yeah, and we were talking about that. That basically their only stringent is that you can't have ads in your book. And so really, I mean, when it's a crowdfunded book, it doesn't have ads, of course, unless they're ads for yourself. So so you can send them media mail. You can.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. What I'm getting at is, even though your book will qualify, if the USPS has what do they call it? What's the terminology? Well, they reserve the right to open up your package during transit and inspect it and make sure that there are in fact no ads, because comic books of old traditionally had lots of ads for various things, mail-in order things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they consider it similar to a magazine that's full of ads. So they reserve the right to open it at any time if they have any suspicion or want to do a periodic check for a QA. And also, supposedly, I haven't looked into this myself, but I'm told that it's, let's see, you have your priority mail, then you have like standard mail, and then media mail is like the lower or lowest end. So it gets the lowest priority in terms of speed of delivery. So yeah, whatever works for you, and as long as it gets the job.
The job done. Yeah.
Now let's see, King Toad Comics, the Mothman, welcome. Got to hang with Ryan earlier today. Great guy with the book. This project deserves to get funded. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm really loving it. Heck yeah. Yotam Darkstar, welcome. Hail everybody. The most unusual package I got was from Knuckle Supper Studios. It was completely custom made with layers of cardboard, and it was pretty cool. Everything was in perfect condition.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some really well-packed packages in the past, but sometimes it's because I've backed a campaign multiple times. So some creators will take the initiative and bundle, all my backings in one package instead of, paying the separate shipping for every single backing, which I prefer. Yeah, Zach uses Media Mail, according to Jason. He's a writer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all preference. Media Mail works. Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. So this is looking pretty darn good. 60% of 5200 fixed goal. BRIC-A-BRAC #2 fantasy Christmas story, and you are making available issue #1. Thank goodness, because I think I missed out originally. Hey, welcome, Christine Venner. Good to have you. I remember really digging this concept and everything. Let's play the movie here.
For sure.
The Nutcrackers' War has left the inhabitants of Planet Christmas hopeless and desperate for heroes. Dozens of provinces and villages have been taken over by General Almond and his evil soldiers who aim to rule the planet and capture all the Christmas spirit that's left. But out of nowhere, a new hope has arisen. Our young hero Garrett is on a quest to find Father Christmas, who he believes is the only man that might have the power to dismantle the war completely. Garrett and a leader of the small but mighty Christmasville militia could be the only chance the planet has of returning to its jolly old self. But several questions remain. Where's Father Christmas, and why has he not stopped the war already? Who is Jack Frost, and what dark partnership did he have with General Almond? And what evil lurks behind the drawbridge of Castle Wenceslas? Raphael Sam will once again be the interior artist of this second issue. I, RyanHaack, will continue to write the story, and Tom Barton, our great cover artist, will draft a 5-page backup story, The Tragedy of Jack Frost, as well as drawing the variant and main cover of the second issue. BRIC-A-BRAC is back and better than ever. Please help us make this a reality.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that your promo video is informational. It shows you a lot of interiors. It introduces the talent involved behind it. It does the job.
Yeah. I love the ones that are just a minute or a little less than a minute. That's the sweet spot, I think, with campaigns. If your video is less than a minute, I think it's really effective. I don't know.
Yeah, speaking of your boy Zach, not to knock him or anything, but sometimes he has a tendency to. He's like me. He's very verbose sometimes, but. So his promo videos will sometimes be 10 to 12 minutes long.
Wow.
He's like really talking about it, and then he might get sidetracked and, go off on a tangent and talk about something and then get back to the subject at hand. But I think he's getting better and shaving it down. I think his last one was maybe 5-6 minutes. Let's see here. But yeah, a lot of people I'm hearing are thinking about a minute or so as being a good measure because of people's shortening attention spans. Let's see.
I would definitely agree.
BRIC-A-BRAC. Yep.
Hey, Christine.
I will be back in next week. Just have to wait till payday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Welcome, Dillard Draws. I have a question. What's the deal with that sweater?
Oh, mine? Oh, this is a Sonic Christmas sweater going on here.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's like a Sonic Adventure 2 thing. I don't know. I found it on the Sega website or something. I have this thing where I get a Sonic themed. My mom just does it for me. She just gets, video game themed, sweaters for me, because I don't really know what to wear on Christmas. So it's kind of just a thing. So I figured I would wear them now, wear them now for the interviews or not, or stuff like that, get more use out of them,
Yeah, it's especially appropriate because of
right.
your book. having a Christmas theme to it.
Right now, I'm trying to actually make some bric-a-brac shirts. I was going to have them included in the this campaign, but they're just so expensive. So I'm going to make them on my own, and then with the next campaign, hopefully we'll have a tier that has them. But you know, if you're doing a small amount, it's like $30 for each. So it's really not economical right now. But next time when we have the completed thing, we will do t-shirts. But I'm going to test it out this year. So I'm testing out some of them of my own designs.
All right, right on, right on. Jason says 1 minute is good.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to back this fun and annexing book. Eric says, hello, peeps. Welcome, Eric. How did you, all right, so again, we had you on like a couple months ago.
Right.
For those of you who didn't catch or is unwilling to watch my previous stream with you, would you care to recap how, you know, what is your origin story? How did you get into eventually this point where you're creating your own books?
Yeah, so I just got really, you know, during the New 52 DC, I'm really primarily, I read a lot of DC comic books and stuff like that. And so, and still to this day, I tend to, if I hear something is good from Marvel, I go over there, but I really like DC stuff. And I think that starts from the New 52 because it was so accessible. And I understand that the quality of the books is questionable in some cases, but, you know, I liked Batman and Robin, All-Star, or I think it was All-Star Superman or whatever Grant Morrison was doing. It wasn't with Frank Quitely. It was with, I think Ivan Reis or something like that, or Rags Morales, something like that. And then Batman, of course. And then I think there's a couple. Aquaman was great with Jeff Johns and Ivan Reis. That was the one. And then, yeah, I just kind of springboarded from there. Like I continued to follow. Really, the first comic book I ever bought, like each sequential issue, was the Batman series, you know, with Scott Snyder, which I still think Scott Snyder's a very talented writer. It's just that I feel sometimes he doesn't challenge himself. And so then going forward, you know, Grant Morrison, or I really liked, what else? Yeah, I think a lot of Grant Morrison. I think I had a phase where I liked all of his stuff, even Mark Millar or Miller or whatever you call him. But yeah, I think that I love Mark Miller because his ideas are so, like, you could make them into movies, but yet they're comic books. And I understand, you know, a lot of the reason why he makes the books is to make movies because he has his own studio and stuff like that. But no, I mean, those were the kind of books that I was reading. And yeah, I think those are really my favorite. Paul Dini, you know, Alan Burnett, you know, I love the Batman Adventures comic books. I love those. And I still read those because I think those are great comic book stories. But yeah, that's kind of how I got interested in the writing aspect of it. I knew I didn't have the chops for the artistry, which is fine because, you know, I really like the writing, and I write prose now and comic books and scripts, and I have a webcomic, and I also do films, and I have a podcast, and it's just, you know, I've kind of expanded my repertoire, but comics is always still in my heart, you know, because I think it's great because with film, you're very limited. With prose, you're not limited, but with film, you're very limited. In comic books, it's like you can really do anything. You can really, it's such a freeing thing. Like this book is only possible probably in animation if it was going to be brought to the screen, or in comic books. You know, so it's just, that's why I have chosen to bring it to this form. It would be weird if it was just written in prose. I feel like it wouldn't do it justice. And to have these great visuals, it's just, comics is such a great visual medium. And it's just, it's something that I really love. And so, yeah, that's kind of my origin story, I guess.
Cool. And how did you, well, let me catch up on this here real quick. Hellos. Eric likes your sweater.
Thank you, Eric.
It's pretty cool, actually. Jason says, you know what I meant. I'm on my phone and at work. So judgmental. How in the world did you put together this great team?
I would just say, well, first I found Raphael on ArtStation. So I just for anyone who's interested in doing comic book collaborations, or if you're a writer, or if you're an artist who's looking for a colorist or a letterer or anything, go on ArtStation. It's where the talent is. And so that's where I found Raphael like 2 years ago. And that is really kind of where it springboarded, because I saw him and I was like, okay, I this person wants to collaborate with me. They would be willing to, because he's an excellent artist. He's way older than me, but he was still willing to collaborate with me. And so I really wanted to make sure we worked on something that I knew he would be perfect for. And so we springboarded ideas back and forth and designs. And, at first the story wasn't on a planet Christmas. It was on Earth. And then, at first the evil, the Nutcrackers were good guys, and there was all this different stuff. And then I came up with the idea of just a planet Christmas, because I wanted to add something new, something unique. It wasn't just going to be like a story that is played based on Earth. I wanted to add more elements to it. And so so Raphael, he was really the first one to get the train moving. And then I already knew the cover artist and someone who's doing the backup story, Tom Barton. We knew each other because we worked on a comic book called Serial Wars in 2018. So it's like a 5-pager that we actually were in a anthology together from Oneshi Press. And I was in it, and I saw his art, and I was like, we need to collaborate. So I messaged him and reached out to him. And then, we worked on that. And then I made that into a motion comic. So I paid some guy to kind of make that into an actual motion comic that summer. So that was cool. And then we continued to collaborate. And that's how Tom got involved. And then my friend Milton, who's also doing some parts of the backup story, we've been friends for years now. And he lives in Portugal. And we've collaborated for many years, so it was just kind of natural to ask him to design some of the things in the book, and also he's doing some sequential pages for the backup story. So that's really how the big team came to be, really, the big team that we have.
Nice. Christine wants to know, how many issues are you planning with this story?
Yeah, so there's 3. So it's a 3-issue story. 3 might be a little more oversized because that's really the end of it. There's several battles in that issue, but with this series, it's going to be 3 issues, and then hopefully we'll collect them. And as for the future of the series, maybe we could do some more adventures. I'm definitely not opposed to that. Maybe we could focus on a new character in the BRIC-A-BRAC universe. I think people would maybe want to know more adventures of a specific character they thought was cool, and I was just thinking that's a possibility. But as for right now, I don't have anything else planned with it.
Jay Fairclough, thanks for coming. Ryan has now officially got me in the Christmas spirit. Rocking it.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes.
How long has the idea for BRIC-A-BRAC been in your head?
So let's see. I would say probably since I was very young. Like I really liked Christmas, and I've absorbed a lot of the, I would watch the Rankin Bass movies, which are classic.
Yeah.
Whether it be from, the Leprechaun Christmas, which is an obscure one, to, of course, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, to Peter Cottontail, to all these great movies that are holiday themed, Mad Monster Party, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I love those movies so much. And then I just was like, I kind of like maybe in my mind created a universe that they all existed, because they do kind of exist in a cinematic universe. They really do. And so that idea was always in my mind, and I always loved Christmas and the imagery, and I just wanted to put it together. It's really like what my aesthetic paradise would look like, just a Christmas world, that has all these different facets. It is really like kind of my aesthetic, is just that whole Christmas thing that I just love. And so that's where the idea came from. I always knew I wanted to do a Christmas story. I just never knew I would find the best artist to do it so early in my writing career. It's just, I knew that he was the guy. And so that's kind of where it springboarded from. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have touched it for years if I hadn't yet found him, because I think he's really the key to making it work, because he's such a great, he understands what I'm trying to do, you know, and I think we both understand each other artistically, and then so do Tom. Tom totally gets it with the covers, and Milton too. So it's just that the perfect team kind of fit, and that's really the idea, though, has been kind of festering in my mind for a long time.
Pretty nice. Christine says thanks. Eric is asking, who is the big ice monster? I like how that character looks.
So that is Jack Frost, and Jack Frost is one of the new characters in the that's going to be introduced in issue 2. He's really one of the main focuses, because he and General Almond, who is this character on the first book page, you know, the first issue, the General Almond here, the bad guy, the leader of the Nutcracker team. They have a past together, that they kind of started the war on Planet Christmas with the help from an outsider. And so issue 2 is going to give a lot more context as to how the war started, because issue 1 we just dropped right in. But with issue 2, we're really going to get like who started it, how did these Nutcrackers, who were, you know, totally, you know, they only had wooden swords, and they were totally unequipped to take over the planet. How did they suddenly get these jetpacks and this and this and this? Well, we'll find out. And then, and it's obviously they didn't make them; it was given to them. And so he is really pivotal, because then as you scroll down too, you'll see a fight between General Almond and Jack Frost here, who looks kind of like a golem. And so the backstory actually is called The Tragedy of Jack Frost, so it's primarily focused on him, because his role is huge. He's really a redemptive character. He's really kind of like a character who has screwed up a lot, and then he finally and he made a lot of mistakes and hurt a lot of people he loved, and then he'll get the opportunity to become you know, better through, you know, Garrett helping him and through our main characters helping him kind of find that redemption. He will get a chance to, but the tragedy of him is I think one of the cooler themes in the story, because it's like, you know, Christmas, and it's a common theme in a lot of Christmas stories, you know, whether it be Scrooged with Bill Murray, you know, some guy who makes all the mistakes, who does all the bad things.
Yeah,
he can redeem himself. It's his tale, and that's been in Christmas stuff all the time. But the cool thing about Jack Frost is that he didn't used to look like a golem. He instead looked like an elf. He was, you know, and as you see in the pages below, he's, you know, playing his flute for the little animals who are, you know, they are, you know, building a Christmas tree and decorating it. But then something happens and he becomes this ice golem. And so we'll figure out what that is. And that's the tragedy of him. But again, like I said, he has an opportunity to redeem himself for sure.
Nice. Do you have any other ideas in mind after BRIC-A-BRAC?
You know, I will definitely do more comic books. But, you know, I'm trying more comic books for sure. Let's see. Well, I think in March, I will say this. I have, like I said, I was mentioning my web comic that I have, The Unspeakable Text. It's a series where me and a lot of people that I find on ArtStation or Instagram collaborate on short 3 to 5 page stories. And so I've compiled at least 11 or 12 right now, but hopefully by March, we'll have at least 15 to 20 stories that we're going to put in an anthology, right? And it's black and white. And so that's my next thing. That's going to be happening. And so the goal will be low because it's completed and it's just black and white. So it's super cheap to print, but you're getting a lot of value. I can guarantee you 20 stories, probably about 150 pages of content. So
nice.
And if you get issue 1, and if you get the first volume, you'll get another 11 stories, which is about 80 pages too. So 200 pages, you know, of comic book stuff.
So are you talking they're short stories in written form, or are they like going to be translated into comic format?
So they're scripted. So I wrote all the comic books. I wrote them, and then I collaborated with artists, just collaborated with them, and then, you know, said there's no deadline and stuff like that. And then they just kind of created this. They helped me create it. Basically, I mean, you know, they drafted it for me, basically the script. And so, I mean, and you can go here. I'll send a link to the website so you can check it out. I just uploaded a couple stories last night, but Yeah, it's just it's kind of a cool thing I do that I really like, because it gets people who maybe haven't drawn comic books in a long time or ever before to get involved in comics. You know, it's so great to do that. And then yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of just, they're not necessarily horror stories, they're really suspense stories, or kind of you know, just interesting stories, concept-driven stories. But that will be my next project. That will be after this, and the goal will be low, but I can guarantee you that it'll be a lot of value. So look to that in March after I fulfill this book.
Nice. Unspeakable text.
Yes.
Sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Eric is asking, are all the BRIC-A-BRAC books going to be holiday themed, like Halloween, Easter, 4th of July, etc.?
Like I said before, I think I've said this a couple times, but I don't really plan on maybe exploring the other holidays. I might, it's possible, but I don't really want it to be too reminiscent of like The Nightmare Before Christmas or something like that, you know, where it's like there's a holiday theme for everything. That's cool. But I think with Christmas, Christmas is really the most valuable of those holidays, because there's so many layers of meaning in Christmas. There's so many layers, you know, even if you aren't religious, you can look up at the sun and say, well, there's meaning here because, you know, we're going from the darkest point in the year to the lightest point in the year. That's meaningful. And then, you know, obviously the religious stuff and of many different religions during the winter. It's just a more meaningful time. I just think that this is what I would like to focus on. But I mean, you never know. Maybe they could take a trip there in a sequel, or they could be like a little Easter egg of something like that, of some holiday. But I don't really think of. I'm not sure if I want to go that far, you know, because I feel like it might be a little contrived at that point. You know, like I think it would be cool, but at the same time, who knows? You never know.
Right. Jack Frost is Jack.
He is definitely jacked.
Yeah, nutcracker. That's what the wife said.
Okay.
I like how this story sounds. That's
Thank
cool.
you,
Eric. Christine says, it looks like a really fun comic book. I'm hoping to read them to my niece and nephews.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the main thing. Because I was reading, you know, my mother would read me The Night Before Christmas, or a lot of great Christmas stories, and I want this book to be the same thing. I want people to. And, you know, with The Night Before Christmas, everyone knows what happens in it. But with this one, it's a lot more complicated. And it's I mean, I love, obviously, that great poem. But it's like, this is just something that's so different. But it takes all those things you're familiar with and just kind of forms them into something new. I hope that it becomes a Christmas classic. That would be my dream, to, you know, hear people are reading it, you know, on Christmas Eve, because, you know, that's awesome, you know, that's the intention, you know.
Nice. Eric says, sorry, I didn't mean to have you repeat yourself. I popped in and out from the stream and likely missed it.
Oh, no, I was just talking about other streams I've mentioned. But no, I mean, as for ideas for the holidays, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Enter Mr. White Gloves. Hello, all.
Hello.
Splash Page Comics.
Hi, Splash.
Excuse me. That's a good value as well. $24 for issue number 1 and 2, plus a Jack Frost print.
Yeah, and a bookmark. Don't forget the bookmark. And you also get both digital and physical. Or yeah, you know, you get digital rewards too. So if you want to send it to your nephew or something, you can absolutely do that. You know, Dropbox it to your nephew. Yeah. So I mean, I think with that one is a cool one, because you get a lot. You get a lot for $24.
Oh, for sure. Excuse me. Let's see. Christmas Odyssey continues. You're actually already covered in the intro video what the story is about, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that, because I think that the video, like if it's just story based, you can really hook people if you show the art and stuff like that. And I've never shown myself in a video for a campaign, so maybe next time I will. I'm thinking next time I might do some puppet thing, like some stop motion thing, because we're trying to wouldn't that be awesome if we could maybe do some kind of stop motion, very simple. It wouldn't be complex, but it would be very cool to have that happen.
That would be a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love stop motion animation.
Me too.
This image of the kid and Death hanging out nearby. I love the art and the colors.
Yeah, so this is one of the big battles, and like I said, there's a path between the main Nutcracker and then Jack Frost. It's they have an antagonism towards each other because they've broken their trust, and so this is kind of them. There's no other 1v1 battles in the book, the entire book. So this is like a really cool. It's like 3 to 4 pages of just action going on. So it's cool.
How much detail do you go into as the writer, the storyteller, when you convey it to the artist? So detailed script, marking every panel,
pretty much. I definitely mark every panel, but I take the dialogue out, so it doesn't, because I can work around that. I don't want this big thing of dialogue and then they have to think, oh, there should be this much space. Like, I can definitely work around anything. There's always a way, with that, and especially because I do my own lettering and stuff like that, so it should be easy for me. And then, he does follow pretty much everything that I kind of say, which is cool, but he also does a lot of adds his own details, which is totally his style. He just is really creative, and he's always thinking about new, how to make something a little bit cooler or how to make something look a little bit more. His style is just all in the details, all in the character expression. It's very cartoony, but you kind of, if you look at a character, you can very clearly see what they're thinking. Like, I don't know if that's always with all comic book art. It's very, that's what's great about cartoons, is that you can look at a character and really know what they're thinking. You can really see, because they're so exaggerated. And so Raphael's really great at that,
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, and so he doesn't, his panel layout is he'll kind of have a background, and then he'll kind of put the panels there. He doesn't really ever have, I think there's only one instance in the first book where he has kind of like a black background, and then there's the panels, which is kind of standard. He always goes for the dynamic, which is awesome. He'll always give you kind of, whether it's the environment or whether he's kind of showcasing a part of Christmasville. And this is Tom too, and you can kind of see Tom is very similar, but his panel layouts are a little bit different, but he still has the same idea with Raphael, but you can tell it's a little bit of a different artist because of the coloring, I think. But yeah, it's just, it's very cool.
Oh, hell yeah. Christine says, I like how you have the panels on a wintry background. It's a really great look, very Christmassy.
Yeah, that's a great thing he does, because it makes it feel like a storybook, because how storybooks are kind of like, it has a full page of an image, but then you add the panels on. So then it kind of adds a comic book feel, and then it also adds a storybook feel. So I don't know, that's something I've noticed that he did in the first book, and then I kind of realized how much it adds to, if it was black, it'd be just really, really lame. But, you see that kind of there'll be so for example, with this page, this is kind of the main focal point, because you can see that there's the rest of the page kind of it's with that same panel, and the continuity is there, and you see these characters kind of break out of it, and then there's the panels stacked on top of it. So I think it adds a storybook feel that's very unique. I've never seen that in another comic book before. So again, he's always thinking about that kind of stuff. He's always thinking about kind of adding the environment, and he's a great artist. I mean, that's what great artists do.
Is he as detailed as Alan Moore? Lol, dude would tell you how many staples were stapled in a bunch of papers to its artists.
Yeah, definitely not. I try to give him my artist a lot of freedom. I think that really allows you to just go for it, just absolutely, do something that's unique. And I think Raphael always does that. He always manages to surprise me, and it's great.
Yeah, the borders and layouts are super cool.
Yeah.
It looks much better than if it was panels on a white or black background.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Makes a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I particularly like this one because you've not only got another example of the background and the front of it, but the way these panels are arranged, how you have them at angles, like spokes in a wheel.
Exactly. I really like that layout too. I've never seen that before, so it's just so unique that he can do that. It's just I just love the way the book looks. It's just like it's again that aesthetic that we're going after. They just know it. These artists kind of know what I'm going after, so it's just so awesome.
Indeed. Yeah, not only forest animals, but it looks like there's even a worm there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the idea that in how in Rudolph or all the animals are in the woods and they're decorating. So it's just kind of like this is who Jack Frost was before. Jack Frost, he played music, and he was just kind of like a bard who went from village to village, who was very peaceful and nice, and he gave gifts and played music for people. And then his life gets way more complicated when he meets this person who crash lands on the planet, which really is the person who starts the war. So it gets a lot more complicated.
Oh my gosh. Christine says, yeah, that's a really cool page.
Yeah. And these are pencils from Milton, who's again working on the backup story. He is a great friend of mine, and just a fun page. Well, kind of a sad page because this is kind of the transformation between Jack Frost and Gollum Jack Frost. So I wanted to include that because people were asking questions.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome colored. Yeah.
So, your interior artist, he's doing pencils, inks, colors, and lettering?
So actually, Milton is the only person who does pencils. This is pencils, but the other two, they just go digital. But yes, they're doing their own coloring and line work and all that stuff, though. But yeah, I think Milton just likes to do the pencils because he explained it to me one time. I just think he says it gives a more organic feel. So, and I think he also wanted to use it for, something he could show to his mentor. He has a mentor, who I think he was working on Nightwing at one point. So he has a mentor and he wants to show him all this stuff. So that's why he also does pencils.
Oh, wow. Nice. Really impressive.
Yeah, just kind of a dinner scene at Father Christmas's fortress. This is what.
His fortress. Oh my
yes.
Little cocktail weenies, olives.
Exactly.
I love the nutcrackers. They're so cool looking. There he is.
Yep. Definitely, again, kind of like one of the main focal points, even though we're really generally focused on our main characters in issue 2. Jack Frost is another character who kind of just brings more depth to the world, brings more complexity. Because I think issue 1 was very simplistic. And so with issue 2, it's focused on the characters, truly focused on who they are. And, our main characters, Garrett and Marie, they have a battle between each other. Not they don't fight against each other, but they have they don't agree on certain aspects of their mission. And so you'll get to see that play out. And so it's just really all around adding more depth to the characters.
What the hell is that? Sorry, it sounded like somebody outside was driving and then screeching like they were coming to a emergency stop. Check out that dragon. Looks indifferent. What a trip. I love how the gingerbread people are so thin, like thin cookies.
Yeah. I mean, this is Christmasville, so this is actually a page from the last book, the first book. But since this book is involved with that one, you can get both of them. I figured I would include a page. But yeah, this is just a look into Christmasville. It's just a world filled with Christmas characters, just filled to the brim with a bunch of different characters, and we're kind of just go crazy with the fantasy here. I mean, there's really no rules. And so, yeah, we have dragons and spider snowmen and little elves and penguins who, are professional skaters. And it's just all these kinds of things, and later we'll have some more unique characters thanks to backers, firstly, who, are creating characters of their own. There's an awesome marshmallow character that I can't wait to put in. I know exactly where it will be. And someone backed it already and drew me the design. Okay, so people go in depth. Someone wants to put their dog in it, which we already had the dog in before in the Christmasville militia. So we'll put it in again. And yeah, it's just a really, really cool thing to be able to just drop in crazy, unique animals that have never been in Christmas things before. That's kind of it's again embracing the fantasy to an absurd level.
So there was dog introduced. Do you mean in BRIC-A-BRAC 1?
Yeah.
They're making it repeat.
Yeah, they did another pledge that they want to have him come back. So the return.
Cool.
Yeah.
Christine says that's going to be a great addition. I love reading backstories. Helps get a feel for the character.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Thank you all for spamming the link. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Dragons.
Yes.
No, not ghosts, Frago. It did sound like some car screeching, someone hitting the brakes, but it sounded like for a long time. Who is the dragon?
Yeah, he's not really. We'll find out later that the dragons actually live near the Nutcrackers' headquarters. So it's kind of like a Mustafar place on the far edge of, at the very tip of the planet. Their headquarters exists, and this is where they make exchanges of the Christmas spirit and bring it and meet with different people. And then this is where the dragons are from. So we will get to see more dragons. Absolutely.
I love that the dragon is wearing a scarf.
Yeah, he's a nice one, but the other ones aren't so nice. The ones who live near the Nutcrackers aren't as nice.
Huge snow ant.
Yes.
Cool. I love that. Total escapism, pure fantasy. Brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, again, it's just have a lot of fun, no rules. Just have fun, and embrace the childlike fantasy. That's what Christmas is all about. You don't have to really. Again, it's the same thing with kind of like Santa Claus. Obviously, he doesn't exist, but like you can, the idea of him is real. And I don't know. It's just I think during Christmas, people are to embrace the fantasy. It's just awesome. Embracing the idea of the fantasy, and why not in a Christmas story too.
Mm-hmm. Could use a handsome tree frog in a Santa hat.
Yes, it definitely could. I think that will be happening. I think.
I'm so glad you have a tier with both books. Yep. Yeah. I need to get in on that too. Nice. Dragon City.
Yeah. Yeah, Christmasville, this little town, if you've seen Nightmare Before Christmas, it's definitely that little Christmas town really honestly inspired a lot of this book because I just saw it and I love that Christmas world. And my first reaction to it when I saw it as a kid was like, I want to know what other places on this Christmas village or Christmas planet look like. Because I mean, it's a town that he goes to, but you'd think that there would be a world, just like there was a world in Halloween Town. There would have to be a world surrounding it, so there must be different climates and there must be different creatures, and it was just, you keep expanding and you get a really cool story. And that's kind of where this story kind of came from too, is that idea that there's a world and this and that. So
and then you take a moment to go over the creative team.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So Raphael, me, and Tom. Yeah, I love his image there. Yeah, it's awesome. And then my friend Milton, who is you might have seen it on, I think, Indiegogo. I wrote the script for it. It's called Raptor. It's like a I don't know if you've seen it, but it's on Indiegogo funding currently, and I think it ends today. But he didn't succeed, but he will be doing it again. So it's a character we kind of both worked on together, and he created it for sure. But so maybe we could look at that do you want to look at that for a second? Because I just want to plug it just because I want people to be aware. Raptor, the preamble is what it
is. It RAPTOR? Or
RAPTOR, yeah, the preamble. Yep.
As in like the dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you some more of his work. Raptor, there it is. Yeah, so this is a project that we worked on together. Yeah, it's not going to fund, unfortunately, but it's a really cool project. Yeah, and it's just some of his art and stuff like that. And
I love the logo.
Yeah, so he's a super talented guy. Yeah.
Oh damn!
He's my age. He's 22, so he's just so talented.
How in the world did you? On a side note, how in the world are you guys so driven? I mean, there are a lot of people your age who are just lazy as hell, and they've got an entitlement attitude, and they don't have any drive to, create something. And you guys are like knocking it out of the ballpark. Jeez.
Yeah. I think it's just I want to tell stories. Milton wanted to tell stories. He created this character similar to me with my series a long time ago, and so it's just like when the opportunity arises. We've been friends for several years, so we worked on the script, and it's just it's a really cool story. So I know that it will fund eventually, but it's just. And he made a super awesome trailer for it too. And he's studying animation, and it's going to be cool. But I think that the issue is that he lives in Portugal. So the problem is that he would have to pay a lot of money to send books domestically in the US. So what we're going to do is send half of the books to me, and then our 75% of the books to me, because I assume that half of his backers are going to be in the US, and then 25 to him. Or honestly, all of them to me, because it would only make sense because it's probably cheaper here than sending them in Portugal. Because he says that his mailings, it's bad. It's not. It's just not very reliable. And so I might be sending them, but it's just a lot of really cool. It's just going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it to finally get going because he deserves it. I mean, his art, the story is really great. And so Raptor is a cool character, and it's just has this whole we've created this whole universe of characters that is just he's really the first stepping stone, but
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm digging it. I should reach out to him, and I'd like to see if I can help promote his book when he.
Yeah, he might do it next year, but yeah, that's kind of the. But Raptor's cool, yeah. But that's Milton, by the way. That's.
let's see here. Let's see. Nice. Dragon City. Tree frog with a hat. Sounds cool. Looks at Joe. I love that film.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, I haven't heard of that book. And is it in the second 30 days?
No, but I don't think he plans on redoing it. There's a lot of things we need to figure out with the shipping and stuff like that. I think that he's going to be able to lower his goal if he does manage, if we figure out something with me sending them with media mail or something way cheaper. So it would be something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of tricky sometimes because you gotta put a realistic goal based on what it's truly going to cost you to cover all your expenses and not go under,
right?
Be in the negative or in debt from your campaign. And at the same time, if it gets to be too high, then the backers look at it or can perceive it as being, oh man, that's such a high goal that it's improbable that they're going to be able to fulfill, so I'm not going to bother backing it.
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm really happy that with my campaign, we're closer to the goal. I think that gives people more momentum to just be like, well, they'll back it. Especially since, with Indiegogo, the money is taken out of your wallet immediately. And if you're trying to back a book that will not succeed, you probably won't do it. You know what I mean? But when you know that it's possible that it could get to its goal, it gives you way more motivation to do it,
Yeah. Yeah, she totally missed that one. Damn, it looks pretty good too, she says, with a frowny face. Yeah, I honestly never heard of it either.
Yeah.
I've been, I started up my channel for the main purpose of, one of the main purposes of promoting indie comic books.
Right.
And so I've been doing it for nearly about a year. And somehow this wasn't even on my radar. It's like there's so many books I come across, and sometimes I come across them too late, and their campaigns have already closed. And other times that it's so close to closing that there's not much my additional promotion is going to do to help out. But it's one of the things that drives me to continue promoting.
No, it's a great thing because I think, you and Shay and, just there's so many people who go on and interview people, it's just, it helps people, it helps make people's dreams come true. It really does. You help spread the word on people, and it's so important. And I just, thank you for doing it. Thank you for giving people a platform. It's awesome.
Well, heck yeah. It's my pleasure. Christine says, oh, yeah, I think you might have touched on this. Couldn't you get them printed in the U.S.? You'd only have to send the files then instead of Creative Books.
That's what we'll be doing. So it'll be Mixam, which is the same place we use for this.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's actually it's a graphic novel, so it's a little more pricey than my book. So I think the first book is going to be like $25, but it is awesome art. You guys will not want to miss it. He is awesome. I mean, he's going to be a rising star, Milton, in the artistic world. I think that he will kill it. Whatever he does do, if it's comic books or if it's animation, he's definitely got something going with his skill and talent.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I can just tell by looking at what I saw in the campaign, and even without watching the promo video, that his stuff looks clean, looks good.
Definitely, yeah.
Joe Frago says, Ryan's passion and hard work sold me. The concept and art is amazing, but Ryan taking some lumps and dusting off and staying positive made me especially passionate about supporting BRIC-A-BRAC.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing every single time I tweet. It means the world to have people like you. And you're the people who will bring the project to life, because honestly, it's people like you. I didn't know if I was going to fight for a fourth time, for a fourth time. It's like, is this really going to work? And people were telling me that's crazy. You shouldn't fight for the fourth time. But I was like, no, it's Christmas. It has to happen. We have to do this. Have to get book funded. No, come on. It's Christmas. It's the Christmas season. You're going to have to wait a whole nother year to do it if you really want to. Again, that's not happening. So we're gonna get this funded, and thankfully, hopefully, we'll get that going. So.
Yep. Yeah, they are used by quite a few creators. Yeah, mix them.
Mm-hmm. It's great. They're great and super quick turnaround. Amazingly quick, like within the week. So. Mix them is the best way to go. I don't understand. I still don't understand why people go to. I mean, I guess I could understand maybe if you have like books in the thousands, but if you have books in the 200s, like probably what mine will be in, I don't see why you would go for anything other than Mixam. You should definitely go for it. And the quality of the books, it's you can see this is kind of shiny, and it's been. I mean, this is almost a year old, and it looks like it just came out of the casing. It's just. The books will last. They're awesome. So,
and that's smooth glossy, right?
Definitely, and it doesn't flip it. It's very it's just it's gonna last on your shelf. Even if you decide that you don't want to get the full collection, these books will still last. It's a cool thing. They have not broken on me. So.
Oh, good. And what kind of paper do you have on the pages themselves?
I think it's satin.
All right.
Or maybe it's satin and gloss. Yeah, so they're really thick. They're thicker pages.
It's like one of those weighted papers, like.
Yeah, I think it weighs 100 or 110.
Right on.
So the thicker the paper, I feel like the better it can. Well, it just makes it feel more like a storybook than a comic book.
Yep.
And especially with the first book, we went for this kind of, the little golden books, how they have that kind of design.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah. And then with this one too, we kind of went for that design where you have like the little image of, and then just kind of like the little golden books, they have that. So we were going for that storybook feel,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice attention to detail.
Yeah.
Christine agrees with Joe. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, the fact that you keep pushing back and keep trying is very respectable, and
Definitely.
One of the reasons why I wanted to keep pushing this book.
Thank you.
I'm gonna work harder this time around.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
That's a good wait. Will last a few Christmases.
Definitely. And then hopefully when the book is picked up by some publisher, we'll sell it to you at a Barnes & Noble, man, in a great hardcover with an awesome cover, by Sean Galloway or something. I don't know. That would be cool. I want to get Sean Galloway maybe for the third one. You never know. Because I already know someone who knows him. It's like, Sean, you have to do our cover. Like, your artwork is so perfect. Or you just need to at least do a print for this book. And he already did a print for Chrononauts, so all I would have to do is ask someone, or Art T. Bear, or I don't really know him, but it's like, dude, Sean Galloway, like, come on, you need to work on this with me.
2 degrees of Sean Galloway.
I love Sean's artwork. Yeah, don't you agree? I think it would definitely fit with this book, like if he did some kind of cover or something.
Oh man,
I think it would be so cool. Yeah, so this is also Milton. Milton did this little piece, so it was cool.
My goodness. Yeah, you're definitely working with some talent.
Yeah, these are all fan arts. These are fan arts here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this was on, I forget who drew it. I was on Drawn and Quartered.
Oh, you were on Drawn and Quartered?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was a couple of months ago. It was for the last campaign, but it was for one of the failed ones, but thankfully, it's just so cool. They have so many awesome artists, and it's so cool to see them take the characters and do their own thing with them, and it's lovely.
Well, when you were on the show, did you also draw something?
I don't draw. So I was just kind of there, you
You're
know.
just hanging out.
Yeah, it was great though. Yeah, so this is a little like I don't know if the person quite understood the concept, like the Nutcrackers and Jack Frost are like each other, but still, this is cool nonetheless. You know, it's cool. Maybe they somehow got control of Jack Frost, and they're like using him against, you know.
Right.
That's what I like to think. Maybe
that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, and this is the last year's cover, so just kind of and then the cover for this year is not going to be the Jack Frost. It's going to be the, you know, Garrett and Marie fighting against the Nutcrackers, kind of like that Jim Lee inspired image. That it was on the first campaign, but I wanted to change the image so people knew it wasn't the same campaign.
Yeah.
I just, you know, to differentiate. I don't want people to be like, oh, that's the failed one. You know, no, I want to make sure people know that it's the good one or the one that's alive. Yep, and then some more logistics, just about how we're going to use the money and stuff like that.
Breaking it down.
Definitely.
Let's see here. The compilation of all the stories sounds like a brilliant idea for a HB book.
Definitely.
Hardbound, okay. Yeah, I love fan art.
Me too.
Seeing how other people interpret characters.
It's so cool. Yeah, I love that. It just brings a new fan art is just one of the most the coolest things, you know, especially with this book. I think that people are so the characters are so likable. Like there's Raphael designed the characters in a way 2 years ago even that makes them look just like they're out of a Pixar movie. Like you want to draw them. And so that's just kind of what's so cool about the fan art is just I love all of it. So if you know, I hope there's more. Hopefully there's more.
It says here you have about 20% of it done. Is that still pretty accurate, or
that's no? I think now we have about 30 to 40. Yeah, so we have all the backstory, all the backup story done, and then now we have about let's see. Yeah, I'd say we have a lot of interior pages to finish because that's where most of the production is. But I, you know, paid for all of the backup story and a lot of the interior art. But yeah, the production is going to a lot of the interior stuff because good artists, you have to pay them well. You know, you have to pay them well.
Yeah, indeed.
For sure. Yep.
Let me see here. General Allman uses a Christmas star to mind control Jack or something. Long.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
There you go. That'll do it. This year has been rough. Welcome, Frog G. But we can still save Christmas. Show your love and get your copy of BRIC-A-BRAC 2 on Indiegogo. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody, thank you for spamming the links.
Thank you.
Let's get some more eyeballs on this and share. Excuse me. So we got let's check out the perks.
For sure.
Yay, you've got a featured perk. I always relay to creators that I love when they do the featured tier because as I see it, it's kind of like the best bang for your buck. Mm-hmm. You get to dive into the project that you're backing, and you often get some extra goodies.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be the cheapest tier. It's not going to be the most expensive tier.
Exactly. Yeah, someone used to tell me that, it should be your most expensive tier. It's like, no, not at all. I don't know who said that, but I was like, no. It was the same person who told me I should extend even though I knew I was going to hit my goal. Don't do that. Because then it kills all the momentum, you know? That's what you're building. That's the whole thing about crowdfunding is the momentum. And, oh my gosh, it might not succeed. If it doesn't succeed, we're going to lose everything. You know, it's the same thing. But yeah, I think that's the perfect featured perk. Because like you said, not a lot of people heard about the book. Not a lot of people knew had heard about it. So it's like, you know, I only had 200 backers, and that's a lot to me last year, but it's not a lot to a lot of other people who crowdfund. Obviously, people were in the thousands. So I wanted to do this one so people who saw it could be like, that's the perk I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other cool thing about the feature tiers, well, I guess more useful or practical reason to have a feature tier is that, you know, people are understandably busy. They're not always going to, you know, as much as they like you as a person, as pumped up as they are about wanting you to succeed, they don't necessarily have the time to just sit down and go over your entire campaign and, you know, try and get questions answered. So there are those people who want to support you, but don't necessarily want to spend the time to pour through all the details, especially if whoever's creating the campaign made a really, really long one. Yeah, some people do. So they will be more prone to jump for the featured tier. And again, it's like a middle priced.
Yeah, I would also say that, you know, like, for example, my grandmother or something, or my aunt, or my, you know, older relative, I think it's nice to keep it like a middle of the way tier, or like, you know, my teacher or something like that from, you know, middle school or something. If they go on and they want to support me, it's just nice to keep a perk that's that you can get everything right there, and it's featured, and it's the first thing you see. So I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Yeah. And it's super reasonable, I think. And yeah. And you get a lot of stuff. You get like 6 things plus the digital stuff. So I think it's a good thing.
Indeed. Let it be known that Frog G is the most handsomest of frogs.
Okay.
It puts me off a bit if I see the most expensive tier as the featured tier for some reason. Yeah.
Definitely. Wait, so I have a question. So Joe Froggo and Frog G, they're not like what's the frog thing? What's the frog? I'm confused. Sometimes I think you're the same person, then sometimes I'm like, no, they're definitely not the same person.
Well, my understanding is they are 2 different people. Or why they choose frogs, I'm not exactly certain.
Are they like? Is it like a club?
Well, in Comicsgate, one of the leading personalities is a man by the name of Ethan Van Sciver.
Right, I know his art. Yeah, I know his art.
So you might be familiar with him in DC with Green Lantern and the Flash.
Of course, and Batman, and yeah, definitely. And X-Men and so much.
When he left DC to pursue his own venture in crowdfunding comics, he went back to a property he created many years ago as a kid called Cyberfrog.
Right.
So his big IP right now is Cyberfrog, and he's become very successful as a result of it.
Right.
In crowdfunding, he's probably the top person in Comicsgate.
Yeah. I did see one of his campaigns like in the millions, right? So that's like the biggest. I mean, no one's ever made $1 million for a comic book. Even right? Isn't that true? It broke a record, right?
I think there were I guess you could technically say there might have been 2 others. There was this one from many years ago that took forever to fulfill, but it was like a book, a comic or graphic novel full of nothing but stick figure characters. But it was in the early days of crowdfunding on Kickstarter, and it was like what is it, Attack of the Stick, or
I've never heard of it,
or something like that, but it was all about Dungeons and Dragons, so it appealed to many nerds, you know, and so that was I think it was like 1.5 or 1.2 million. And then you probably heard about Keanu Reeves.
Yes, I did.
All right, so EVS, or Ethan Van Sciver, had 2 campaigns cross 1 million, and I think in mere day, about a week maybe, Keanu Reeves' project that he was working with a bunch of other people on crossed the 1 million mark.
Oh, geez, I didn't realize it crossed 1 million. Wow.
Yeah, so I think it eventually surpassed EVS's campaign, but at the same time with Kickstarter, once you conclude your campaign,
right,
there's thing as in demand. So EVS's projects are still in demand. Well, he already fulfilled Cyber Frog Blood Honey. He's I think he's getting close to fulfilling Cyber Frog Wreck Planet, the sequel. And then he's re-releasing like all the original content comics from the 1990s, all in one big what is it called?
Omnibus.
Yeah, omnibus.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's so freaking big, and if you haven't yet, be sure and check out his campaigns and how they're structured. They're pretty epic. Okay.
I'll check it out. Yeah, definitely. I will check it. I like his artwork, definitely. I mean, he's great. He has like a Brian Boland type, Greg, like a Gary Frank and Brian Boland kind of mix. That's what I've always thought is his artwork. You know what I mean? I think kind of like it's like a very realistic, but at the same time, a little bit more movement going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's what his artwork is like.
Yeah, I'm really big into his freaking attention to detail. I really love detailed artwork.
Right.
But on the same note, I like simpler stuff too. There's another comic skater named Narwhal who has a crowdfunding book called Foreign Agent. I think it recently closed after being in demand for a while. But it's nowhere near super detailed, but because of the way his use of lines, he conveys the action and conveys story through minimalistic artwork, I guess you could say.
Got it.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, definitely check out EVS's project sometime.
Okay, I also like Brian Polito, his projects. I think they're very, very.
Lady Death, right?
Yeah, and that's a character I know he's had for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So he's had.
Yeah, they're constantly cranking out Lady Death
products. That's inspiring stuff. Like he is always. It's almost like every month he has a new thing, and he has his own little like team, like a big team. So I don't know. I think that's really cool because and the Keanu Reeves thing, he has like Boom Studios who's going to distribute his book. So it's really not the same. It's not the same. Right. I don't think it's fair to really compare. But yeah, Brian Polito, he's also up there with he has a lot of huge campaigns. But
oh yeah, him and Todd McFarlane.
Oh yeah, that was the big one this year. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I guess he released a book along with an action figure of Spawn.
Oh wow.
Through crowdfunding. I heard it went pretty well, but he uses Kickstarter. Comicsgate as a whole, or almost always uses Indiegogo. So everyone has their preferences.
Sure. Yeah.
I like Indiegogo's model, and I like the books coming out of Indiegogo. So let's see here. Yeah, here's confirmation that Joe Froggo and Frog G are different people. We are two different people.
Okay.
Random happenstance, I think. I chose Frog before I found TG. Okay. There's a whole explanation and story about my frog, and even a written backstory that only a few know about. Joe Froggo, interdimensional sentient tree frog born from light and love and memes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I need to ask Ryan. Do you mind if I add hashtag? Oh, actually, Ryan and I were just talking about this, or texting each other about it. If I add hashtag Comicsgate to the tweets I do about your campaign, some people don't like it. I don't know. Do you want to tell her the same thing?
I mean, I just am not a part of any groups or anything like that. I'm just, I would prefer not to, just because I'm just not a part of any groups. And then I also don't want to speak for my other collaborators too. So it's just, you know, I don't know. I just, I don't know. I don't know if you didn't, that would be good, because I think that I can't speak for my other collaborators, and I'm not a part of that group, and so I don't think they are either. So it's just, but again, yeah, I mean, that's all I have to really say about that. But just do whatever you feel, you know. But I just am not a part of that group.
Usually, at most, for those who don't identify, but who I also promote, I usually just put Comicsgate friendly.
Right. I love anyone who's supporting my book. That's all that matters to me. It's not about the groups, it's about the people and the supporters, and that means the world to me. So
welcome, Hexalon Comics. Hail, BRIC-A-BRAC. Hail, everyone. Hail. Joe Frago says Narwhal's first book, Earthbound, is on. Oh, you know, by the way, the whole reason the whole reason I even brought EVS up was because I guess I had a misperception that these two frogs were somehow derived from Cyberfrog. All right, so that was my big blunder. Narwhal's first book, Earthbound, is honestly probably my favorite of my 1995 my favorite of my 95 backings.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a prolific backer.
Yeah, Joe is awesome. He's
catching up to me. A lot of people mock his style, but he's like a mad genius. It completely dragged me into the book from start to finish.
Narwhal. I've never heard of that person.
I've heard a lot of good things about Earthbound, and I'm hoping.
A video game?
No. It's a crowdfunded graphic novel or a comic book.
Okay.
You know what? I wonder.
I've never heard of it.
So you see what I'm talking about? You see how I feel? There being all these projects that I haven't heard about.
Yeah. Is it called Earthbound?
Earthbound. This might. Oh my gosh.
Earthbound.
Oh, he's got the second one out. Second one on pre-launch. Oh, how did I not know that? All right, hold on. Let me also do. Not Dearth. Earthbound. Let's see if it's going to allow me to view. Okay, so it's closed. Oops. Let me see if I can play this.
Hello and welcome to Earthbound, Between Two Breaths on Earth, a science fiction graphic novel that follows two headhunter agents on a mission to Earth to recruit the Sirens of Violence, 4 deadly warriors in hiding. The Sirens won't come willingly. Luckily, the agents have special weaponry that jacks the target's free will. All they have to do is isolate the Sirens and get a clear shot, a good way to have fun on Earth. For this campaign, Narwhal Comics is releasing the first half of the story. Funding goes to a print run and Top Robin, as well as production on the second half. Earthbound means bound to Earth, printed by Earth. Between Two Breaths means a moment in time, a breathless moment. In the universe, there was a flash of interest on Earth by the powers behind the Galactic Grand Prix tournament, and that is this story. Join me. Let's feel it out and see where this goes.
Isn't that a trip?
Yeah, definitely. Super cool.
My gosh. And let me see. So he made 14-1 on that one. Crap, what am I thinking about? Foreign Agent.
Yeah, definitely interesting art style. It kind of reminds me of I don't even know. I've never seen anything like it.
I know. He's freaking so unique. Look at this. He's doing so well in Comicsgate that he's at 40K, but he's freaking talented.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so check this out. Check this out.
That's so cool.
Isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely interesting artwork.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's don't want to spoil anything in the book. I would say the last, it does build, the tension builds, and the last 80 pages or so, 60 pages should get very, very intense. I mean, you bring things to a boil with all these different characters. For an agent, you feel from the beginning, I mean, and in fact, the way you set up the story of these soldiers kind of making their way across the snow, feels like they're running from something. It's not good. Their situation isn't good. By the time you hit, page 7, you're feeling tense.
Wow, awesome. Very cool, very cool.
Yeah,
I've never seen his artwork, so I'll check him out.
Definitely a trip. And let's see here. If you don't want it, that's fine. I always like to ask, as it causes people trouble sometimes. Yep. Yeah, it never hurts to ask. I never thought to ask when I do that. Might be a good idea. Yep. You should show him the campaign and see what he thinks. Yeah. His current book is For an Agent. It's in demand, and the soft cover is still available. Yeah, I think I backed when he was offering the hardcover. That was a still from Breathless in that Earthbound video.
The name reminds me of that Super Nintendo game. I can't stop thinking about it.
Narwhal is so odd. Man, yeah. People think he's brilliant. I just know he's got something special going on.
Definitely interesting art for sure. Yeah, I'll check it out, definitely.
Let's see here. So that was the BRIC-A-BRAC physical bundle. So you get the book, the main book. Was this the print?
The print is the Jack Frost, and then the bookmark is the Nutcracker. Yep.
And then this one right here, is that the
new variant cover? Yeah.
Ah, nice. All right. Then the next tier is wait, hold on. Man, that's freaking affordable. That's a really good deal. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a really good deal. BRIC-A-BRAC #2 digital. So you get 2 digital format. Nice.
Yeah, again, for people who are international, it's easy on me and on you to get the digital. It's easier on both of our parts. So if you can offer it,
Right. True. BRIC-A-BRAC number 2, physical. So you get the physical book, original cover. You get the variant cover.
Oh no, that's the print, and yeah, this is basically for people who got the first physical book. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's the physical print in this bookmark.
Yep, just in case people don't want to buy the book over again, of course.
Yep. Then you got the BRIC-A-BRAC digital bundle. So you get both. Is it basically both covers?
Yeah, those are the 2 covers. Those are the 2 covers. That's issue 1 and issue 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Issue 1 and 2. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I probably should have just differentiated them, but I don't know. It says in the thing. And then you can donate to the Boys and Girls Club.
So, wait, hold on. I'm going to try and be careful not to dox myself. If you back this tier, 2 copies of BRIC-A-BRAC 1 and 2 will be donated to a Boys and Girls Club chapter of your choice.
Yes.
2 issues of number 1, 2 issues of number 2. That's pretty sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised there aren't more people doing that. But, 2020 has been crazy on everyone.
For sure.
Double BRIC-A-BRAC bundle. All right, so this is kind of like the donation one, except you're getting the copies instead.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right, create a Christmas character. Dang. All right, so is the one that's claimed the dog one?
I think so. I had a perk I had an early bird perk at 65. So I think 3 people claimed it the first day, which was crazy. But
wow.
then I had an early bird special, and then we upped it for about $10. But yeah, and then limited it. And so, yep, this is kind of what I was talking about, the create a Christmas character.
All right, so there's technically like a total of 8, but 3 of them are already claimed, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also the other perks below, they kind of, if you back them, you also get a create a Christmas character.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, so it kind of builds. It builds.
Oh, what a trip! Yeah, I like that design, having one tier build upon the next.
Yeah, me too, because it makes things a little less complicated. And it's less complicated for everyone, I think.
I think so too. I think so. BRIC-A-BRAC 1 digital, BRIC-A-BRAC 2 digital, BRIC-A-BRAC 1 physical, BRIC-A-BRAC 2 physical, exclusive bookmark, exclusive Jack Frost print. Create a Christmas character. Now, if you create a Christmas character, is there always that possibility that your character will get killed off in battle?
Potentially, yes. Because it would usually be in a war scene or something. So this is from last year. We had this war scene depicted, and there's some create a Christmas characters in here. I don't think any of them died, but it's alluded to because the militia did have to surrender. So, but there's some create a Christmas characters. I think there's a cat there, and then there's a dog somewhere. There's the dog that I was talking about right there. There's the Dosh Hound, or and then someone wanted a little elf. Yeah, so it's just.
So yeah. Some of them may have ended up POWs.
It's possible, unfortunately. But again, Garrett's going to try to make everything right.
Let's see here. X digital would be a lot cheaper for me in the UK, but I just can't drop my addiction to physical copies.
It's true. They feel a lot better.
Yeah, I love physical. Even if a creator offers a digital format, even if it's free, the chances of my reading the digital version is slim to none.
Right. It's just unenjoyable.
I don't like the interface of digital comics. And I like to be able to flip back and forth as quickly as I want and dart my eyes around to different images and things like that. freely without having to rely on a back button or an up button or a left swipe or a right swipe. Joe Frago backed the next one up.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Tchaikovsky's Revenge, the second.
Yeah, so again, this is just getting a sketch. Yep. And the same with last year. It's basically the same perk, but you get to create a Christmas character along with it. So it's a little bit more of a cooler perk, I think.
Right on. Become an elf.
Yeah, so someone wanted their likeness on an elf, and maybe that could be a cool tier, so I made it one. We're going very simple with tiers, perks, just very simplistic, but.
Wow, 52% off. Want your likeness to be on one of Father Christmas's elves? Select this perk. You'll get to become an elf, and you will also receive both BRIC-A-BRAC 1 and 2 in digital and physical, exclusive bookmark, Jack Frost print, and a sketch from Raphael Sam.
Right. So instead of creating a Christmas character, you get to become an elf. So.
Wow.
It's like an upgrade.
Oh my gosh, dang. And only one of them has been claimed so far? Jeez. Oh, dang. Oh, man. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll still be here when I get paid. Oh my gosh. Oh, dear. That's pretty wicked. That's pretty awesome. I'm loving it. Oh, no, I did it again. Crap.
I was like, oh, God. What's up on me?
All right. So rewind. All right. Rewind. All right. So we covered create a Christmas character. I guess this is the one that Joe Frago backed.
Yeah.
He's Revenge, the second.
Exactly.
Bring on the ballet. Pledge to this reward. Receive a sketch of BRIC-A-BRAC character from Raphael Sam himself. This keepsake is one of a kind. You'll also get physical and digital copies of BRIC-A-BRAC 1 and 2, an exclusive print, a bookmark, and the opportunity to create a Christmas character for the book. So let me see something here. Does that mean you previously had a tier called Tchaikovsky's Revenge 1? And
yes.
It already got scooped up, all 5 of them?
No. That was from. It's just like the name is coming back because it's named after the main Nutcracker has a brother, and in the first issue, the brother breaks and uses the brother breaks into the Father Christmas's fortress with the help of these kids who know where he is, and he basically kind of just. That's his brother, and so he's super into himself. He puts pictures up of himself in the North Pole just to because he's so self-centered and very different from his brother. And yeah, he's just like drinking eggnog and stuff like that. And but yeah, so that's what it's named after. It's the second Nutcracker who's kind of a badass. I mean, he has a really cool axe, but he's not as strong as his brother, but they have a fun relationship. But he's the second in command.
Gotcha. Yeah. Man, I can't believe I've done that at least twice already, maybe 3 times. The only time I look at digital is when I'm watching Zach reviewing comics. Lol. Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. All right, this is the Become an Elf one, where you get your likeness on one of Father Christmas's elves. So by likeness, does that mean you're still going to get the ears and the pointy nose?
Yeah, you'll still look like an elf, but it'll be very similar to you.
1 of 5 claimed. not only do you get to become an elf, you also get BRIC-A-BRAC 1 and 2 in digital and physical formats, the exclusive bookmark, a Jack Frost print, and a sketch from Raphael's hand. That's pretty sweet. Man, this looks so good.
Thank you, man.
We gotta get this campaign funded.
Yeah, we do. We have to get it funded. Hopefully we can get stretch goals, maybe. Yeah. I would love to add another backup story with Father Christmas fighting monsters, possibly. So that could be fun.
Let's check out your updates tab here. Do you have, oh, I didn't see it. Maybe I'm blind, but you don't have listed anywhere what your stretch goals are so far, do you?
No, not yet. I haven't really thought about them until we reach the goal. You know, I just haven't really thought about them. I will. I hope we reach the goal before, you know, I mean, we're 20 days in and we're at 60, so that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad. So hopefully we reach it maybe 10 days before, you know, it ends, and then we'll put the stretch goals. So I think the first one will be bookmarks. I think the first one will be, you know, probably like 7 or 6,000 maybe, and that'll be like a maybe an extra 2-page backup story or something like that. So another backup story or some more pages, or because, you know, we had to make some compromises with the last book, so it'll with the last campaign where I had it at 9,000. So maybe kind of getting back some of those features that were initially in that my originally planned campaign.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh,
for sure.
Right. Was the hero's name Garrett named after anybody, or just a random name?
Just a random name. I like the name, but just a random name. He's supposed to represent just everybody, all kids at Christmas, you know, who are kind of faced with the reality that, you know, there are, you know, it's just the story is basically about a kid who is super innocent and isolated, having to go out into a world that's really screwed up, and kind of having to try to find Father Christmas and bring it back together, even though it's really screwed up. So it's really a character who's just, that's kind of an analogy for when we find out that, you know, when Christmas starts changing for us, we're super innocent and our parents tell us Santa Claus is real. And then we realize that there's all these different religions people believe in, and people hate Christmas, and people, you know, and Santa Claus isn't real, and there's all this. So that things get more complicated, and people start to loathe Christmas, or just kind of, they're just indifferent about it, you know? And so it's a kind of an analogy to our journey. So Garrett is really us as kids, you know, that's really who he is.
Very nice. And, oops, come on. Frog G says, this comic is so good. It's distracting you from monitoring the show. I get it. Back BRIC-A-BRAC 2 today. Indeed. We can get a good end of campaign push, I'm sure. The first and last weeks are always the most productive.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Because the first week, the first day, I got like 1,500. I had never gotten that in my life, so I was shocked. But and again, a lot of it is thanks to Joe for just sharing and all of that. So,
I meant to ask. So it's 20 days left. Did you start with a 30-day funding, or did you do a 60-day funding?
30-day. So I think I want us to reach our goal, because first it'd be kind of a buzzkill if we were still funding after Christmas. Like, I mean, we're going to keep it in demand, but if we were still funding the campaign after Christmas and trying to get to the goal, it would be kind of awkward. So I think that we're going to, you know, I really hope we reach the goal by December 10th, and we'll go directly into in demand. That's my goal. That's my plan. So I'm going to work for that. And I have as many shows as possible that I'm on, you know, to make, you know, try to get the word out.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
Podcasts to Nerd Crusade to, you know, everything. So.
Yeah, literally. There are so many channels you can go on.
Definitely.
Finding...
Yeah, I honestly just look up like creators and then like on Kickstarter and Indiegogo and then find out what they've been on and just ask. You know, that's what you do. You know, you just ask and you never know. You could get a backer out of it. You can get many backers from it. So it's just spreading the word.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me see. When you get a chance, check out my channel because if I did it right, it should have things broken into categories. It's supposed to list additional areas, and one of the things I have listed is Comicscape promoters.
Okay.
And so that is I'm sure it's an incomplete list because there are a lot of there's a lot of people who are creators but who are also promoters and who also showcase other projects from people.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, there's so many.
That might be a decent resource to
yeah, definitely. I'll check it out.
People to reach out to as well.
For sure. Yeah. I've been asking people on Twitter, like I'll literally go on anything. I don't care what it is. I just want to spread the word to people who like comic books. That's it. That's all. That's my only thing. Just the people who like comic books.
And then, what was I going to say? If heaven forbid, I mean, I think you still have a chance of getting fully funded within the first 30 days. But if heaven forbid you didn't, I still wouldn't knock extending another 34, to ensure it gets funded.
Right. Or maybe another 10 or something. I mean, because it probably wouldn't be too much. It probably wouldn't be like a crazy amount that I would need to get, because we're already at 60, so we're doing pretty good and we have 20 days left. So if I just keep pushing, I think that.
Yeah, because it seems like based on other people's campaigns, that is kind of almost a sine wave or a roller coaster kind of cycle, where you got the pre-launch where you're building your email distribution list. There's a great initial interest, so your activity and your interest shoots up, and then it gradually drops down. Then when your book launches, then it jumps back up because there's a renewed interest now that you're live and people can start backing your project. Then it over time starts to go down. Then towards coming to the end of the first 30, because people know it's coming to a close, then there's another spike of interest from the people who don't want to miss out on it.
Right, exactly.
And then when the second 30 days begins, then you might get another spike of interest.
Right.
A gradual decrease again. And then at the end of the second 30 days, another spike of interest because of the FOMO, fear of missing out. And then when you go in demand, then there's another thing, spike of interest. And then ideally, if you can, if your campaign's doing pretty well and you're hitting various stretch goals, it keeps the interest relatively high.
Right.
Instead of, bottoming out in a valley.
Right.
Until the next peak. So
exactly. Awesome, man. Yeah, so that's what I'll probably do.
She says, "Oh, didn't check. Do you have add-ons at the checkout for people that want other things with the perk?"
I don't have any add-ons right now because I kind of, like I said, the perks kind of add up. Like, so if you just want issue 2, you can get it. If you want to get the bundle, you can get it. I just wanted to make it really simple because I think add-ons can be kind of complicated. But I was thinking about maybe adding an add-on for issue number 1. So if people wanted, but there's only one tier that doesn't offer issue number 1, and you would have to, so maybe I would just make issue number 1 as a whole perk entirely. So if people just want to get issue number 1, but that would kind of not make sense because then they couldn't get the whole story. I don't know. It gets complicated when you have more than one book,
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those who is a big proponent of add-ons because the way I back campaigns, sometimes I'll find something that doesn't quite meet all my needs. It doesn't have all the goodies I want. So I go through the campaign back in one perk, for example, and then I conclude that transaction. But then I have to go through the beginning and back again a second time, and then back for the additional pieces that I missed that I could not get via an add-on. But that also means I'm paying extra shipping every single time I have to reback.
Right.
As opposed to if you do add-ons, then everything is compiled together in one big old batch, and you have an opportunity as a creator. I don't know how difficult or easy it is from the back end, from the business end, but it seems to me that you'd have the ability to shave off some of the shipping costs because you're now like upgrading to a slightly bigger box, you're packing more product into the same package, and so on. So from one perspective, it could potentially lead to cost savings on shipping for the backers, but at the same time, I don't know how difficult it is from the back end. You might find that as soon as you're funded, people who are fence sitters will hop on, as there are still people that are wary of backing crowd-funded campaigns. Yeah, true. Was just thinking about adding on sketches or extra bookmarks or prints or different cover. And along those lines, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes people will they'll get a tier that meets or closely fits what they're looking for, but they might want extra copies of this or that. Like maybe they want to get a middle tier, but they'd like to get extra copies of issue 1 or an extra copy of issue 1 and an extra copy of issue 2, so that they can keep one of each in pristine condition and then not be concerned about messing up the other copy for regular reading and rereading. Or maybe someone who's or maybe you back a tier that you like, but then you want to get 2 or 3 t-shirts or something,
right,
for different people, and that's another place where it might come in handy.
For sure.
But like she said, you can do just about anything as an add-on. Sketches, bookmarks, prints.
Absolutely. Definitely. Awesome.
Yep. All right. So let's play this once more. Play the trailer.
Nutcracker's War has left the inhabitants of Planet Christmas hopeless and desperate for heroes.
Hold on. Before. All right, I just had to make sure I wasn't screwing up again.
Dozens of provinces and villages have been taken over by General Almond and his evil soldiers who aim to rule the planet and capture all the Christmas spirit that's left. But out of nowhere, a new hope has arisen. Our young hero Garrett is on a quest to find Father Christmas, who he believes is the only man that might have the power to dismantle the war completely. Garrett, and a leader of the small but mighty Christmasville militia, could be the only chance the planet has of returning to its jolly old self. But several questions remain. Where's Father Christmas, and why has he not stopped the war already? Who is Jack Frost, and what dark partnership did he have with General Almond? And what evil lurks behind the drawbridge of Castle Wenceslas? Raphael Sam will once again be the interior artist of this second issue. I, RyanHaack, will continue to write the story, and Tom Barton, our great cover artist, will draft the 5-page backup story, The Tragedy of Jack Frost, as well as drawing the variant and main cover of the second issue. BRIC-A-BRAC is back and better than ever. Please help us make this a reality.
he gave credit to the the people who do the music too.
Yeah, you should check. Their music is great. They have a lot of Brandon and I forget. They have a lot of. I think the last name is Feature, but they do a lot of that kind of music where it's background. Derek and Brandon. They have a lot of Christmas albums or Halloween albums or mermaid harp albums or I mean, and I just contacted them and I was like, hey, can I use your music? And so they let me use it last year and this year I'll be sending them copies, because I really appreciate it. They do medieval times or, that kind of stuff. So just really fun, elves, fairies, and merfolk or, stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And that was kind of them to allow you to use that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really awesome. They have a lot of really cool music that I listen to while I write or stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I should ask these people if they would let me use their music because I love this song and it could totally work for like a serious trailer. It's like a serious. I mean, it's the sequel, so things are getting kind of intense. The first one had a much happier vibe. This one has a little bit more of a serious vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure. On that note, let's bring this to a close. I'm going to give you the floor. Please share with the world how you can be found on social media.
Okay. So I'm on Twitter at @Haack_pro. I'm on Instagram at RyanHaack _98. And that's really where you can find me. My LinkTree has all my things. So whether it be my podcast or my films or my, prose stories or the Unspeakable text or this campaign, it's all there, or Raptor or what's going on with that, it's all there. So yeah,
right on. I refreshed the page and it looks like there's one more backer, so you're
awesome.
At 3 or 61%.
Epic.
Fantastic. So I think there were a couple backers today.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the platform. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just, again, I mean it though. When you guys doing the interviews, it really does, makes people's dreams come true. Like it's just a step in allowing people to give them that platform to reach the consumer.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, I frequented a lot of people's campaigns, and I often found myself ending up with a lot more questions than answers. So I took that as an opportunity to learn more about the creators and, try and get those answers to the questions I had for their campaign. And I figured, well, maybe other people have the same questions, and maybe if we get those answered, then it'll help them, move forward and back the book.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's true.
Christine says, thanks for the stream, Wise, and thanks for sharing your passion for your books, Ryan.
No problem. Thanks, Christine.
You can find me on WyzGyz Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube, Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, Twitch on WyzGyz Twitches, Parlay under WyzGyz Parlays or WyzGyz Now. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Mark the bell for notifications. Drop any comments down below the video on what you're most excited about on BRIC-A-BRAC number 2. And thank you to those who backed the project. And thank you to everyone in chat for joining us. Thank you for all your questions. Thanks for everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks to our very special guest today, RyanHaack.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We are going to hope to have you on future shows too.
Definitely, yeah.
Let's see. We all have our own unique ways to support creators. Dang straight.
Definitely. Thank you for it too.
All right. So let's see here. Ending the broadcast in 3, 2, 1.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube translation. WyzGyz. How you doing, Tommy? Welcome to the show.